Murders, mysteries, unexplained stories, and our family's crazy opinions on them all. Join us now. The Family School of Thought is in session.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Family School of Thought.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Say hello, everybody. Jess, tell us the
Yes.
fun for the day.
Mental floss amazing facts of the day. So today's amazing fact, did you guys know that from 1976 to 1987, there were no red M&Ms?
Yes,
Except for the special Christmas ones, the Christmas candies.
I remember that. I don't remember exactly the years, but I remember when they got rid of red because of the dye, because it was causing cancer.
Well, and I think the dye makes kids hyper. It's the red dye that did.
Well,
something.
it was the red dye was cancer causing.
Yeah.
That's why they got rid of it. They brought it back when they figured out a new formula that didn't cause cancer.
It didn't include all those facts, but there you go.
Okay.
Hey, what was your fact?
There's
I think I know more than that floss calendar.
yeah, mental floss. But so no red M&Ms. But even until recent years, there were blue M&Ms. I remember when blue became a new color.
Right. I lived through all this stuff, so that's why I remember it.
Are you older than M&Ms?
Yes.
Oh. Yes, I think I am. Yes.
Interesting.
Interesting.
It looks a little wet and chilly there where you're at.
Yeah, it's been raining all day today. I went to work and it rained all day. I heard forecasts that we were going to have severe thunderstorms. On the way home, Odin and I saw a couple lightning strikes that were pretty big, but other than that, it wasn't. A couple of rumbles of thunder, and then that was it. Matt said that it was a pretty bad thunderstorm today, though.
It rained really hard here.
Yeah, we didn't have a thunderstorm. I mean, there was no thunder until you went home.
That's what I thought too. But yeah, Matt said it had a pretty bad thunderstorm. So I don't know. I have no idea.
Well,
maybe Matt just heard what we heard.
Out your window there. Cass,
Yeah,
how about you? How's it out there?
Kind of gloomy.
Gloomy.
Well, what's the temperature? It's cold here. We're supposed to get
60 degrees.
Oh, that's nice. We're supposed to get snow on Saturday. Thank God we're leaving tomorrow.
Yay for you guys.
I wonder what's the temperature in Florida?
It is 81.
Nice. We'll be sitting around the pool drinking margaritas tomorrow.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cass, do you have a song for us?
I do, and I hope that you'll be able to hear it because I'm going to do it a little differently today.
You're full of concentration.
So I was looking it up. So while we wait for Cassie too, M&Ms originated in the United States in 1941. So I don't think you guys are older than, not quite, but there you go.
And who invented M&Ms?
I don't know, but I'm looking at Wikipedia just right now. They've been selling in over 100 countries since 2003.
Wow. M&Ms are delicious.
The Mars Incorporated is the creator of M&Ms.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Don't you remember us going to Chicago and I had to go find yellow M&Ms because I was getting them for one of the daycare kids?
Nope.
Yep, we did. We went all over.
Cass, let's hear the song.
Yeah. We're going like full 90s right now.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Yeah. So let me take a guess, though. This is about people dying young and never getting old.
No.
Oh.
No. So this is actually about an old couple. So the song was released in 1998, and it became a summer hit, making the band Fastball a known name in the 90s, late 90s. It's called The Way by Fastball. And their bassist, Tony Scalazzo, heard a story about a couple on the news from Salado, Texas. Leah and Raymond Howard had went to a festival about 10 minutes from their house and were never seen from again.
What?
She suffered from Alzheimer's, and he had just had brain surgery. And most of the news articles were about like maybe they just took off and where they went on a road trip, went somewhere. And as they were like finishing up writing this song, they basically found the couple. It was 13 days after they had gone missing. They were 400 miles away from where they had last been seen.
Holy cow.
They were dead.
Oh no, we
lost
lost
the road.
We lost you.
We lost
We
you.
lost you.
We lost you. You're breaking in and out.
I don't know.
I can't hear you very good.
Oh no.
You're offline. Once your connection is restored, you will be automatically.
Oh no. Technical difficulties.
Tell me when
Okay,
I come
so
back.
they were 400. They were 400 miles away from home.
They were found dead in their car, 400 miles away. The best guess that the police could guess was that they forgot where they were going, got lost, and just were trying to drive to home and couldn't find it.
That's so sad.
They think that, so they veered their car off the road, and they were actually hidden in like a bushy area, so that's why they weren't found for a long time, for the 13 days. So yeah, the song was actually supposed to be more of like happy and upbeat, which is why you hear the like upbeat tempo, because the news articles were basically saying like they had just decided that they were going to take this one last trip and spend some time together. But in reality, a lot of people think that they probably didn't know where they were at.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad.
That is sad.
Womp womp womp.
There you go.
All right. Well, all right.
Well,
Oh,
good song
good
with
song.
a sad story.
Yeah. Good.
You said it was a good story, Cass.
Did I say it was a good story?
I never would have thought all these songs you come up with. I would have never thought that's what they were written about. But
The more you dig in, the more you find.
all right. Okay, Denise,
Huh?
are up this week.
I am.
You are.
Uh-oh.
Well, think of something really good to talk to us about.
I got yeah. Okay. So listen to me.
Wow, you got us good.
Okay. I am doing mine on Cyntoia Brown Long. Does anybody know who she is?
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Well, she was accused of murder and burglary, but she was born on January the 29th in 1988 to a woman who drank a fifth of vodka while she was pregnant. And her mother, her aunt, her uncle, and her grandma pretty much had problems,
Alcohol problems.
Well, they were crazy.
Substance.
Psychiatric problems, I think, too. But
Mental health problems.
yes, mental health. Cyntoia was taken away and then adopted by a family when she was 18 months old. And she lived a good life. She was did very well in school, but apparently she felt like an outcast, and assumed, been bullied, but she went along with school and dropped out and ran away. And at 16, on August the 7th of 2004, she shot and killed Johnny Michael Allen in his home. And where that came from was she was a runaway, and she had hooked up with a man, and his name was McLaughlin, and he was assumed her boyfriend, which was an older guy, but in reality, he was her pimp. And so she became a prostitute, and they were at a hotel in Tennessee, and that's where she lived and was raised. But Gofflin was well known on the streets as cutthroat. And so he told her that she needed to go out and make some money. So she went out to the Sonic in Tennessee, and Johnny Michael Allen approached her in a Sonic's drive-thru, and he had asked her if she wanted any action. And so she went home with, or she usually, of course, says that she went to a hotel, but he went to his home. So they went to his home, and when they were there at his home, she got nervous and frightened because he kept showing her all of his guns, and said that he was a well-known, and he was a real estate agent and a youth pastor and a Sunday school teacher, and he started a homeless shelter or ministry at a Baptist church that he approached, or that he went to, and so when he approached her, he was telling her all of this stuff, and so I don't really know if he was trying to pick her up as a prostitute. It never did say, because it doesn't say too much about him other than this. And in her story, she said that he approached her and asked her if she wanted some action or she was looking for action. And so he took her to his house, and she got really nervous, or she said she got very nervous, and thought that he was reaching for one of his guns. So she grabbed a gun out of her purse and shot him in the back of the head. And so she stole his billfold and his truck and left his truck at a Walmart and went back to the hotel with the guns and his money. And, hearsay, or, what people say, that, because she acted as a prostitute, that she had to take her pimp back stuff to prove that she was bringing back money and, whatever, what have you. But was said by when people were interviewed, Johnny frequently visited a restaurant, and the waitresses would argue and fight on who was going to wait on him because they all said that he creeped them all out. So, you know, you got two sides of the stories, but, you know, the prosecution said that she was a prostitute, and her attorneys were fighting that because of her
So I have a question though. She's 16. She's being charged for murder. And the question is if she was a prostitute or not. There's no question on a sex trafficking. You have a teenager that's being sex trafficked.
Right. But, you know, she was accused and because she had run away, she was a 16-year-old runaway. So the prosecution charged her with, you know, murder because that's what she was out doing what she was doing. And but her defense lawyers were trying to say that because of the situation that she was in when she was, you know, before she was born, it's a well-known fact that if a person does drugs or alcohol, she was considered an alcohol addicted baby, and with the syndromes it affects your cognitive
your cognitive skills. Yeah.
Right. So it, you know, with the cognitive behaviors, it has lack of attention, selective attention, long-term memory, logical thinking, reasoning, and things like for regular people,
a lot of
brains and the outside world, it may be incomplete, and it's resulting in gaps in the learning and mood anxiety disorders. And it's well known fact that that's what happens with, you know, being born.
It's a lot of things
for a long time that women that drink alcohol when they're pregnant or have a problem with it, it causes the baby to have lack of consequences.
Yes,
you know, they don't understand consequences and
Right.
logic.
Well, right. A lot of it is the similar symptoms to ADHD, or they're dealing with past trauma, so like a PTSD type of situation. So even if they're too young to know what that is.
Her defense was that because of that, her mother being alcoholic when she was pregnant, she didn't understand consequences of.
Right.
No, that's what her prosecution.
Yeah.
She readily admits that she killed him in self-defense.
Right.
Because she thought, you know, a 16-year-old kid goes to somebody's home and normally doesn't do that.
And there's a bunch of guns around. Yeah, you're a little scared.
And she said that the way he acted, it scared her and made her very nervous. But you know, in some of the pictures, if you go on to different shows, I have a whole list of things that, you know, how she discusses it. But I'll get into that. But while she was in prison, she fought for release, and because her, you know, attorneys, she was 16, they tried, you know, saying that she was a runaway, and when she was in prison, she had met her now husband, and he had wrote her letters in prison, and he had said that he was told to write her letters, and he wrote a letter to her, and then something else told him to take the letter out and burn the edges of the letter. So he took the letter out and burned the edges of the letter, and then put it back in the envelope and mailed it to her. And so when she got mail, she opened this letter and she thought, this is, this is interesting. So she read the letter, and so they corresponded back and forth for like 4 months. And I mean, while she was in prison, and 4 months after they had started writing together, he went to visit her in prison for the first time. And he said right then and there, she was going to be his wife. So
back to the burning edges of the paper, what's that? How's that play out? What is that about?
I don't know. I mean, he just said that God told him to burn the edges around that thing. He's very religious, and he was told, he was just following what somebody had said, or with his intuition,
Yeah.
told him to burn the edges of the paper. And so she did. I mean, and if he didn't, she wouldn't have corresponded back to him. So I don't.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Like, it was a way for her to like pick it out from the rest.
Right. And they do say that God answers prayers, and she said that she prayed daily. She read the Bible. She while she was in prison, she got her bachelor's degree and finished schooling. And
Wait, did she get her GED and then her bachelor's degree?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but she ended up going to school and finishing schooling, and she became very religious, reading the Bible, and said that she prayed daily, and that she learned that prayers do get answered, but maybe not in the way that you think that they're going to be, but they, most prayers do get answered.
Was she sure she was an adult?
I'm sorry. Yes, she was. Well,
Yeah.
They wanted to prosecute her as a juvenile. So then she went to juvenile, and then because of the actions that she did, they ended up charging her with as an adult. So she went to prison and not into juvenile court. She was sentenced to 51 years to life. So it was 51 years. And when she was in there, she the movement of all of the stars,
The celebrities.
become the movement, all the celebrities, about the sex trafficking and all that stuff came about. And so her story was put on Netflix without her. I mean, it was, there's so many different things that somebody, one of the attorney's friends or something, had put it on TV, and it was a Netflix documentary, and she didn't have anything to do with that. She didn't even know. She was, as surprised as everybody else. But her thought in that was that she hopes that with that release, the documentary come out in April of 2020. And she said that she hopes that part of this film highlights, she said she prays that people will get the highlights of this, where the wrong justice, how wrong the justice system is. But they had released a different somebody else had released a different documentary back before this. And but the whole purpose of this, Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, T.I. Snoop Dogg, Lebanon
LeBron James.
LeBron James. I knew if I looked at the word, I would say it wrong. LeBron James. They all were, I guess, upset because she was only 16. So
Yeah,
why didn't they think of sex trafficking and all this
that
stuff?
was my first
And a
thought.
43-year-old man picks her up.
Right.
Why was it said that? But to this day, his family and the police officer that handled the case denied her the clemency. They did not want her to get clemency. But Governor Haslam, the governor down in Tennessee, he received letters, phone calls, and it flooded his office for Cyntoia to get clemency.
Was she
So
on death row?
no, she wasn't on death row, but she was just in there for
Serving life in prison.
She was in life for prison for killing.
Right.
But they didn't consider, sex trafficking. But when when the Me Too Act come out and that big
Right.
blow up come about, they are looking at young girls that are prostitutes as sex traffickers, not as prostitutes. And they're saying now they're looking at it in a different form.
In a different view. That's what I was thinking too, because one, this is a 16-year-old and she's getting picked up by Johnny Allen is 43 years old. So
Yes.
that's a huge thing. Well, one, that's like, that's a child sexual misconduct kind of situation. But
wasn't he a youth pastor too?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He was a youth pastor. He was the
Really
funny thing
creepy that a youth pastor.
and see that's why his
picking up a
family was,
prostitute.
all of his family was saying he wasn't prostituting her. He wasn't prostituting her. He was trying to help her, but he was willing to pay her $150. He offered to pay her
Well, then why
$100, and she
why
come
wouldn't
back
you just take her out to dinner or something and give her $150 and be done with it?
Exactly. Why would he take her?
Well,
why would he take her back to his house?
Did they have sex at his house?
Well, it was in one of the things. It was said that they did not have sex. So then you kind of think, okay, if they didn't have sex, maybe he fell asleep, and did she really shoot him in the back of the head? There's just so many ifs. You're only hearing her side of the story, and I feel for her. I really do. I feel bad because she was a mixed up kid, but she come from a very good adoptive family, and to this day, she's very in good standings with her adoptive parents. But she really messed up big time, and she was, and the adolescence years are very trying, and she just felt that she didn't fit in anywhere. She didn't feel loved. So she went to the streets and ended up meeting this McGoffel, and it went from really bad.
Yeah, she became a sex worker, which is not, when you have a pimp, it's not like you're doing it because you want to. And that's something too, as a 16-year-old, she's probably being told, you need to go home with so many people or collect so much money per night. And
the thing is it didn't start like that. He was her boyfriend. And so she trusted him.
How old is he?
Okay, he was his boyfriend. It didn't say how old he was, but she trusted him. She thought he was really her boyfriend. A 16-year-old doesn't know anything about love. If somebody's going to love you at 16, you're going to take anything you get. But like I say, it's really sad.
What happened to him in this ordeal?
He got killed.
No, the boyfriend, the pimp.
He got killed. Somebody killed him. So she
Oh.
feels that if she would have been with him, she would have got killed too because of him.
That's a
So I
good
don't-
chance. Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
don't, it wasn't said how he got killed and she doesn't know how he got killed, but he ended up dead. But, and because he was well known on the roads, on the streets as cutthroat. So I don't know if he was a drug dealer, if he was just a pimp, but, at first he became her boyfriend. And then, later in the relationship, he said, hey, you need to do some part in our relationship.
Okay.
You need to make money. So
But my whole thing though too is
the pimp.
with, you know, with pimps, like let's think about it. They look for
Yes.
those runaway girls
Right.
Yeah.
and oh yeah, I'll love you, I'll give you shelter, and
As long as you do this.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. And they just, you know, they train them and
Yeah, she fell into
groom,
that.
so
She fell into the wrong gap. And
yeah, groom them. Yeah.
in March of 2018, the governor of Tennessee gave her parole, and she went in to a parole board. They held a hearing on the clemency to move for her. And it was a move that only 2% of the Tennessee applicants see. But he gave her, he granted her clemency on November 21st of 2017. It went viral, and the high patrol, because of all of the people, and he ended up giving her parole. Hold on, got it everywhere. Maybe that was it. In 2017.
So she's out of jail now.
So she was released from jail on August, no. On April 29th of 2020, she was no, that was when the documentary was released. I got it here. Hold on. Yeah. Where did I put it?
Mom translator. Beep, boop, beep, boop,
Yeah.
beep, 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 boop, beep.
How did it say how long she was prostituting before she met
That's what I was, yeah.
because like if it was like her second time, like obviously she's gonna be nervous, you know, or
Right.
like
And as a
doing it for
16-year-old, you go back to somebody's house where, I mean, I don't know anything about prostituting. You know, I don't have firsthand knowledge, but usually they go to a safe location.
Right.
Or
They
take-
usually, and she
so-
said that she usually went to hotels because
And
that
they
was
don't-
asked in, it didn't say how many people that she had been with, but it did say that normally she would go to a hotel, and it made her nervous that they were going to his house, and then just the way that he acted. And then, like I said, when he was at the restaurant, the waitresses said that they freaked them out. He was, you know, always hitting on
freaked
all of
them
the
out.
young girls, and so, you know, but
so she has her story that he wasn't just a nice pass.
you're breaking up. I miss.
Yeah. I think what she said was that there's a lot of history that he's not this nice Christian
Yeah, there's
pastor.
people to corroborate. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Some people are, and then his family's, you know, other people are saying, you know, you've got two sides of the story. But I found the thing on January 7th of 2019, the governor commuted Cyntoia sentenced life to 15 years plus 10 years. She only served 15 years and then 10 years of parole, supervised parole. So when she got out of prison, she married Jamie Long, and she was 32 and he was 34. and they married April the 29th of 2020. And
So she's still on parole right now.
yes,
She's still serving that 10-year parole because she was born in 1988.
How many
she's
kids do they
yes,
have?
none.
Oh.
None. Right now she is really working on doing numerous interviews. She's working on a memoir about her story, and it's her own story about what had happened, and it was published by Atera Books. I don't know. I've never heard of them, but the title is Free Cyntoia: My Search for Redemption in American Prison. And so she does a lot of interviews. She's really
So she's kind of become a public speaker about her
she
experience.
has become a public speaker, and then her and Jamie founded a nonprofit organization under the name JFAM, and it's well known as Justice, Freedom, and Mercy. And it's a 5 in quotations C3 organization, which aims to empower individuals who are at risk in exploitation or in criminal justice. And she's already helped quite a few of her roommates. Like when she was in prison, she really worked with a lot of the people, and when she got her degree in college, she worked with a lot of the people because there were so many girls that were for the same situation that she was, prostitution and robbery. But they're
Probably because most of the men that were in charge of her sentencing didn't think anything was wrong with it.
exactly.
And a
They thought
16-year-old was being
prostitution.
pimped out.
Yeah, exactly. They think, when you hear prostitution, she ran away. She put herself in her own life. I mean, this is the life that she made for herself, whether she came from a good family or not. The prosecution and all the men that were working the case, they didn't.
But if this was in the opposite role and it was a 16-year-old boy that ran away, they would be, they were trying to find themselves. They're 16. They needed room to grow. They didn't know what was right and wrong.
Right.
They're only 16, but a female is supposed to be more mature than a 16-year-old male.
And especially if you think of the case of that, like in the 80s or 90s, that teacher who had sex with her student and got pregnant. He was the victim in that story, and she was the perpetrator. Like, not that I'm saying that she was the perpetrator, but context, like that's such an opposite reaction.
Well, and those who end up getting married,
they did,
and
they
had kids, and then
prison.
But that's happened a lot, even closer to home than you think. Where
I forgot about that.
But what did she think of the documentary that Netflix did on it? Did she agree with it? Did she think they had it wrong or right? Or
no, she says, like I said, she's praying that people get how the justice system is really bad. And
so she was happy with the Netflix. She thought she was portrayed okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's so many different movies. And on PBS, there's a talk show with PBS, and it says Me Facing Life. Then on Today, it's Fighting for Freedom. She talks about all these different things while she was in prison. Or I mean, once she got out, she's done so many talk shows, and if you go back and watch them all, it tells you, you know, more of her story and how injustice, I think that she was. I think she had a very injustice trial because of the fact that she was just a kid. I mean, and if you go back and look at how young she was, it's sad. And
Her
so
adopted mother, her mother that adopted her.
she calls her mom. She's very, you know,
Are they close?
they
now?
don't, yes, and they don't, she doesn't call her the adopted mom. And if somebody says adopted mom, she says, that's my mom.
Right.
Right.
But when she ran away from home, was her mother, you know, actively
Very supportive.
for her?
No, very supportive. Her mom and dad both. They were very supportive, kept saying, come home, come home. But, you know, she felt that she wasn't loved. It's back to her cognitive thinking,
Right.
rational, you know, she didn't feel loved. She felt that she was being injustice by her parents, because all teenagers do, but because of her brain wires didn't connect, and she made different decisions than maybe somebody that wasn't in the same situation that she was in. But there's so many different shows that you could watch. One was on redemption. One was meeting her husband while in prison and healing and more. Then one was on the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. It's free Cyntoia and then living her dream after prison. Then there was a Democracy Now! And see, some of these shows I've never heard of because I don't really watch TV that much. But so I didn't watch all of these because it would take me 3 months to finish watching all these.
Right.
But one was, and the Democracy Now! Was sentenced to life in prison as a teen and how she survived sex trafficking and won freedom. So she realizes now, when she was 16, she didn't realize that sex trafficking was a thing. You know, you don't know that you're being sex trafficked.
You don't know
Right.
that. Right.
You're just thinking you're pleasing your boyfriend.
Right. You're
But-
being groomed. That's the whole point of, yeah.
And especially back in the probably late 90s,
Early
early
2000s.
2000s when
Yeah.
it happened. Yeah, this was
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was not talked about.
Unfortunately, I feel like until recent years with the Larry Nassar scandal,
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think the sex trafficking and, you know, like the sexual misconduct was really talked about in the open as much as it is now.
Not for
Right.
So
children.
just, you know,
Not for
right,
children.
especially not for children. Yeah.
And I think that's what she's saying. You know, I mean, now it's being brought to everybody's attention, male, women, female,
Right.
children, that the sex trafficking and sexual assaults by men
Right.
and women too. I mean, it's not just
Right. Yeah, I mean, it does go both ways. Yeah.
It's women sex predators. But then there was a Jesus Calling, and so that must be a religious channel, and it's finding true freedom and faith. And she is very religious now, and her husband is very religious. And Jamie was married at one time, and I guess his ex-wife came at her and said, you know, that he did things, and you know, it was just, they said that, you know, it was revenge, or you know, and I guess it's found that it wasn't true. But like I said, I didn't really look into a lot of the other things. I was just majoring on the facts about her criminal justice and her injustice as a poor 16-year-old child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then on November or October 30th of 2019, it has all the dates. It's a show Now This, and it's turned her injustice into power of action. And so she's really come a long way and learned a lot why she was in prison to fight for her justice and fight for her freedom and fight for everything that she.
And I'm sure use her story to help other girls and
I'm sorry.
Yeah, other
open conversations so other girls don't have to go through this.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And so she, and her book is out. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to the library and try seeing if they have that book. And I'd like to see what it's all about, because I watched some of the documentaries and
it is on Amazon. I see it. I'm looking at it right now.
right. And a lot of them are saying that, it's the prosecutions and the psychiatrists that she had seen. They gave her pictures and everything was a battle. It was a fight. It was anger. He was showing her pictures of a family hugging each other. And she was saying that that girl was being forced to hug him. And I mean, just her view on life in general, on all these pictures that the psychiatrist was showing her answers were just so far-fetched. I mean, but it's what she thought. It's how her brain functions. And so it's really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel.
Cassie, she wrote the book. She co-wrote it. It looks like
Yeah.
Okay.
an
I
actual
wasn't
author.
sure. I thought I missed that part.
Right.
It looks like she co-wrote it with let me see.
Well, it was
with
like,
Bethany McGee.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I did.
No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. It was small letters. Bethany Mauger.
But
author.
But it was published by Arteria Books, or
right.
Oh, you did say that.
Yep. She wrote the book.
It was her
memoir,
and it was her wording. She was the one, and she wrote everything down, and she wrote this book, and then
I'm sure the author kind of just put it all together and
made it
formatted it into right.
So, and I think she explains so much, probably about all of the interviews that she's had over the year. Actually, it's only been a couple of years, because she had her first interview in 2011, and her last interview was 2020, and it was there was one with T.I. Tiny, and then Friends and Family Hostile.
Okay.
Oh, there's, and then another one was Free at Last, and it was the Expedite Loving podcast. See, there was a lot of them I didn't watch, but they might be interesting for some of the other people to watch and learn her story, and even,
Okay, the Expeditiously podcast. I'm not. I'm looking at that. I'm just looking at stuff. I don't know for sure, but it looks like it's T.I. who is a singer. Like
who
He's early.
So I'm just looking at how it's spelled.
Yeah, is T.I. Snoop Dogg? Is that one guy, or is T.I.?
No.
Yeah,
no.
Snoop Dogg
T.I. is a rapper all by himself.
Right. That's what I thought, because it says T.I. and then it said Snoop Dogg, but those were all the people that were fighting for her to get clemency.
Yeah.
And I just really think that once that she probably still would be in prison if it wasn't for the sex trafficking
right.
and
well, I think too, it sounds like that Me Too movement.
Yes.
Because when did the Larry Nassar case happen? In 2018, 2017? I mean, that was what kind of really motivated that Me Too movement to go forward, or it seems like, at least from my recollection of it, it's like those kind of went hand in hand together, and a lot of things came forward during that Me Too movement where especially women were coming forward and saying, hey, this happened 30
Yes.
years ago, and I didn't want to talk about it. I was ashamed about it. And that's what, like, I think that's kind of what motivated this. And then celebrities, when they hear the story, they get behind it, and they kind of push that agenda. But that's what it sounds like to me. I mean, that was my initial reaction. She's
Well,
16 years old and being pimped out to a 43-year-old. That doesn't seem
Well,
right to me.
right. So, that's what I'm saying.
That Me Too movement, it really changed the
perspective of how things.
white old men can't just do this without any consequence.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And then when
and that's that, like, obviously you shouldn't shoot and kill somebody, but she wouldn't have been put into that position if she wouldn't have been sex trafficked.
Right.
So
I mean, I know we've talked about this many times, but like Bill Cosby,
right,
his behavior that went on for years and years, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew.
Right. Exactly.
It, but he had enough power, being who he was, and enough, people behind him that they just kept sweeping everything under the rug.
Well,
right. Well, and I think a lot of it too is
years and years.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of it, though, is we've lived in this culture of blaming the victim.
Right.
Especially when it's a female victim. But I remember being in school and being told, hey, you have this specific teacher. You should not be wearing short skirts or, like your cheerleading uniform. If you're wearing it to school, make sure you put a pair of pants on when you go to that class.
Yeah.
And, like looking back.
And instead of getting rid of that teacher, we have to fear our children, our girls.
Right. And that's something that, like, at that age.
Was it a male teacher?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a male teacher.
And he's still teaching.
Okay.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, this was a long time ago. He was an older teacher. But this was something that, like.
They had another teacher than when Cassie was in school, and you had to really watch out for him. And they kept moving.
But that's, that's something too. Like, I remember being told that and thinking, oh yeah, like, I guess as a girl, I got to be careful of this kind of stuff, rather than thinking, like, no, we're girls. We should be able to wear whatever we want, which I think we're getting to that point where it's not about what you wear. It's not about, how you're dressing or whatever. It's, if a boy is distracted.
To a point, I think it is. I mean,
yeah,
but
it's not.
By your friends or by other teachers, or who told you that?
By an adult female. I don't want to get too specific on things, but by an adult female
that was in a authority position.
Yes,
not in the district, but yes, kind of.
He's crazy though.
Okay.
We can have this conversation off. When it's because I don't want to get too specific on anything.
I'm not to investigate that situation, but I'm just saying.
But I think, I have a problem with schools that they have these specific dress codes that females can't wear spaghetti straps because shoulders are too distracting to men or to the boys. Well, guess what? Like, suck it up, Buttercup. If you get distracted and turned on by my shoulder, we got other issues.
Yeah, we got problems.
But the thing is boys can wear tank tops.
Yeah, boys can wear that, but girls are expeced to not be distracted by that. And really, girls aren't, because we're not idiots.
Smarter
when it comes down to that.
Yeah.
But I remember I used to get in a lot of trouble. I always wore like shoulder cutout shirts. I don't remember if you remember that, but I had like a couple shirts. They like had just open shoulders. Like, I was fully covered other than my shoulder tops. And I got in trouble multiple times by multiple teachers. And this was, we went to school in the middle of a cornfield where a bunch of our male, classmates were farmers who wore cutoffs. They like literally, their shirt was cut off until their stomach. And like,
yes, exactly.
Like you could see literally their whole abdomen because it literally was just the entire side of their shirt was cut off. And that was okay.
Like an inch of fabric at the very bottom.
16-year-old pimply shoulders were distracting to these people.
Yes.
To male teachers. Well, like I won't say like the male teachers, but those were most of the time who stopped me in the hallway and said, "You need to get a jacket on." I'm like, it's my shoulder. my shoulders,
Right.
dude.
But you had
Right.
short sleeves on.
And
I
I
mean,
was
those-
fully
Right, I
covered.
know.
Like it was
That's
literally
what
just
we're
this
saying,
much of my shoulder showing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying. Or, you know, like girls are not allowed to wear. I don't know because I don't know what the dress code is at a high school level anymore.
It's still the
But
same.
you know, like
It's still
when
the same.
I was
Your
in high school, we
fingertips
weren't
still.
allowed. Well, and we weren't allowed to wear crop tops because you can't show your stomach. But then guys are allowed to walk around with no shirt on and, you know,
It's just their jersey that barely goes to
athletic
the abdomen.
shirts or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah,
Yeah.
the football players had these like crop top shirts. But like,
Jerseys.
what? Okay. Yeah. Like it doesn't make sense. And like, I don't know. I don't get the whole, I don't know. But it's just the sexualization of women's body is,
Young
I mean,
women.
it's just,
Yes.
it's wrong. It just, and I mean, just looking at too, like, especially when I was growing up, there were so many young or like my age kind of celebrities. There were countdowns until they turned 18 because men were so
Yes.
excited for them to be legal for them, which is that's
Well,
creepy.
Yes.
That's
Have
super
you been
creepy.
watching Phoenix Rising?
Yes.
No.
I watched the whole thing.
This is the story of Evelyn, Rachel
Evan,
Wood.
Rachel Woods.
Oh, Evan Rachel Woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's another, she's another one too that, you know, she was a child celebrity and groomed and yeah, that's a whole
Okay.
thing too.
Not even
This
just
is
films, but
question for you.
Hollywood in itself made her do
Right,
adult
exactly,
roles
right.
when she was 16 years old.
Right, exactly. And that's and it's the same as like Megan Fox too. I feel like Megan Fox,
Yeah.
she's a little to me like a little out there, but she was
But
playing
still.
adult roles when she was like 15 years old
Right.
and being the sex, you know, and that's something too. Like we talked about the OC yesterday. I don't know if it was on when we were recording or not, but you know, Misha Barton was only 16, 17 when they first started filming the OC back in 2003. But
And she was
her
doing
love
sex
interest in the
scenes.
shows, and yeah, her love interest in the show, well, she had a couple boyfriends and kind of thing. It's a teen drama, but they were all in their 20s. So she's on camera kissing, making out, and having these sex scenes as a 16-year-old with a, you know, they're not too much older, but like 23, 24
Well,
Probably
year old
22, 23.
guy.
But see,
Evan,
that's not.
Yeah, so it's like that's a huge thing.
That,
Evan said she was 13 in the movie
Right,
going on.
right.
I think that's
Yeah, she was
She was
14.
13 and making out with a 23-year-old.
Yes.
But
Right.
where do you think her parents were divorced, her mother wasn't there. I mean, his father wasn't there. Not that that's a good thing, but what responsibility do you think she had in that?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I
some,
think that's something too where I think
at the
some
same
of the
time, you
parents. I mean,
can't.
when I think
obviously
too,
her
I mean,
mother knew she was 13 and the guy was 23, and
Right.
they're making a movie
Right.
about having,
right.
you know, sex. So,
But that's what, yeah. So like to me, like I wouldn't want that for my kid. You know, like I don't have a daughter, but I wouldn't want that for my child, either boy or girl. But that is,
Yeah.
but the thing though too is like it's that one thing where like, well, that's Hollywood. That's you know,
Yeah,
that's
I was
what
just gonna
happens
say
in
that.
Hollywood.
she
You
was
know,
raised like that. She was raised in the movie theaters watching
Yeah,
all of
she
the
was.
actors, and her, you know, she went into the role and performed. So she, you know, I mean, she
But that's
grown up in,
something too-
in the movie industry. So
But that's something that that's something though too that you got to look. And I can't think of her name, the actress. She played in the Black Swan, not Mila Kunis.
Natalie
The
Wood.
main girl.
Or not Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
Natalie
Or
Portman.
Natalie
Yeah.
Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. She played a prostitute in like one of her first movies when she was like 15 years old. So it's
She
like
was younger
I
than
just
that. She was 12.
well,
She
there's
Yeah,
a
was, it
lot.
was in
yeah,
The Professional, and she was
A
12
lot
years old.
down there. A lot
yeah,
of
so
females.
it's just
No, hold on. Natalie Portman played in The Professional. She was 12 years old, and she was an orphan. You're thinking of the gosh, what's her name? Jodie Foster in
Right.
the
yes.
You're thinking of Jodie
yeah,
Foster,
I was getting the movie.
who was
I was-
also like
Yeah.
15, 12. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
But
But
yeah,
yes.
you're right. I was thinking Natalie Portman in Professional, but yes, you're right. But that's where it's like I think we've just had this long-standing history
But
of
in the defense
this.
of, well, I'm not defending anybody, but Jodie Foster, when she played a prostitute in Taxi Driver, there was not they weren't making a scene of her having sex.
No.
It was,
No.
she probably wasn't even realizing what she was playing. But this girl, Evan, was 13, literally making out with a 23-year-old.
Yeah. Right.
So she was, I mean, obviously it's obviously not a big difference, but she was 14. The movie was called 13. So the movie is specifically about 13-year-old girls who are doing really, really like adult things and thinking they're very mature and the like consequences of these actions. It's a really good film. It's a like very 2000s.
The sad thing is all of these kids watching these young girls doing these things. It makes them want to do them too because they idolize these stars doing.
Yeah.
And
this film, it shows you the consequences of their actions. It's not a bright and shiny movie. It is very much a dark film. And I think in the sort of defense of her parents or her mom and Evan in this, sense is that she probably just thought like, I'm going to do this one role that's it probably was very, edgy, but also like it's going to teach, like I said, it's not a bright and shiny movie. It's very much a teaching moment kind of thing. And so she's probably like, I'll just do this movie. And then that's probably like the like edgiest movie I'll do. But instead Hollywood was like, wow, she's great in this role as this young adult.
We can make her into a sex star.
And so that they
she made a whole string of movies down there in cases.
Well, and they typecast her and she probably just wanted any movie role.
I can say this.
Well, Dad, I can tell you.
Teenage girls.
Yeah.
It's all about looking provocative and sexy. And the parents are stupid. You know what I mean? So it's a fight with the parents. I mean, you girls now, but you weren't thinking that at 13. I can tell you that.
I don't think I was trying to be sexy. I think I was trying to be fashionable.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And in the early 2000s, that was what was fashionable was crop tops and low-cut shorts. And so it's
basically
what you're
seeing in the fashion now is what was fashionable back in the early 2000s. But I also think too,
it's hard.
You're watching young stars wearing what they're wearing on TV.
You want to idolize them.
Yes,
right.
You idolize.
But I also think
who you
it needs to be more of a conversation on, it shouldn't be this hush hush thing.
Right.
Mom, I was just telling you the other day, we need to be talking about things in health classes with our kids more than what is being talked about, because like there's things that girls don't realize that they have a vagina and a urethra. They don't realize that there's two holes down there, which is so sad that, people don't know their own body.
Right.
But, it's just.
Yeah, just like I said, this creates conversations where now you can analyze this. But I'm saying as a father who's raised teenage girls, it's not as easy as you think it is.
Well, I'm sure.
No, I don't think
precious little angels. I don't think we
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, look at the
and there's
Halo.
there's a fine line when your parents are telling you beauty is pain and you need to look good, and when you're seeing is fashionable, you have to be fashionable. So there's it's a line that you don't think we should cross, but also you're telling us we need to be at that line.
Right. It is. It's that fine line. But I also think that it's like, as a 13-year-old kid or 16-year-old or whatever, especially as a female, because I mean obviously we're females, but like besides you, Dad, but like we're Cassie and I are females to talk about this, but like there was that like, oh, like you can't wear this because guys will look at you. Well, okay. Why are they looking at me? Because I don't really care. Right. So, it's like, and then it's like, like no matter what, your body is being sexualized by other people.
And it should not be. It should
No,
not.
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
No.
Without your
But
permission,
the
basically.
thing is the girls look and see the same way as the boys do, but
You know what is a good movie
it's a
about this?
distraction for the boys, but it's not a distraction for the girls. If some guy come walking through with a nice bod and you don't think I'm going to look, no, but I'm going to look. So why shouldn't it be the same? I mean, it should be the same for.
So you would be distracted.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's But so there's a good movie on Netflix. I can't remember when it came out. I think Amy Poehler was the director of it, but it's called Moxie. Have you guys seen it? And it's about high school girls. And one of the things that stood out to me was there was two girls basically wearing the exact same like spaghetti strap shirt. One had bigger boobs than the other one. And she was told to cover up because she was showing too much collarbone. And she questioned, like, why am I getting dress coded when so-and-so is wearing the exact same top? But she's not considered showing too much collarbone because she's a, A cup and I'm a D cup, and that's not fair to these young girls either. But she got sent home and got dress code. And so that kind of starts this feminist movement in the school. And it's a good movie. I think it's a pretty good I think it would be a good movie for any young teenage girl and boy, I think too, because it shows young men and women where people should be held accountable and what they should be able to wear and not wear.
Yeah.
And
I think all kids
the government shouldn't rule our bodies.
I think that all kids should just wear a uniform to school, and then we don't have to worry about what they're going to wear.
No, that's true. But look at all the, what is this stereotypical private girl? They have that little plaid Britney Spears outfit, basically. Yeah,
I'm sure they would still get in trouble. I'm
Yeah.
sure they would still find a way to get these girls in trouble.
And I mean, I don't know. You got 3 feminist girls with you, Dad, or women with you, Dad. So
I hear that.
But I just think that we need to work on how we raise girls, and that sex trafficking is a big issue, and it needs to be.
Well, and I think too, it's with boys and girls, and all young kids.
Yes, it's not just girls being sex trafficked; it's boys too.
Times are changing because of
publicity,
and things can't be swept under the rug.
No,
right,
and that's good. I mean, it's a good thing, but kids need to be aware of.
Well, and I think a lot of it too is parents don't want to have conversations with their kid, or like in the older generation, parents didn't want to have those awkward conversations with their kids, and then their kids are trying to figure it out on their own,
right?
And sometimes finding it out in the wrong way,
right? And
that's
girls,
actually something.
Even when you guys were in school, it was really hard because they offered sex education, but parents didn't want their kids to know about sex.
Right, exactly. And that's something too that kids should be learning about sex.
I don't think you could say that we were ever
and you should teach your children about their bodies.
I know that I took sex ed classes. So I don't know, did you guys have to sign a permission slip for me to do that? Because I know I took okay.
Yes. See, I don't remember ever taking one in the school.
But they said that they were only going to go over certain things, and if we were offended by it, then you weren't you didn't have to go.
Yeah.
I felt like it was pretty. I don't think it was like super informational. It was like early 2000s informational. Like it was. It got a gist. I wasn't confused by anything that I was seeing, kind of thing.
Right.
I felt like informative.
I mean, we were always.
It was
open,
health
but
class.
I think
so it wasn't like sex ed class. It was health class.
Yeah. But I do think you and Dad, you and Mom were both very open. We had open conversations through our whole life, But I mean, Cassie was born when I was 7 or 8, so it's, we had the birds and the bees talks pretty early on,
Oh,
but
she
but it's just,
sounds like
but
her
I
head.
think, yeah. But I think too that it's just, it's one of those things that I think now parents like my age, or especially the Cassie's age, younger generations, they're starting to realize it's easier to have an open conversation. I think easier all around. If you're married to somebody or in any kind of relationship, you need to be having open conversations with those people,
yes.
because it may be awkward, it may be a difficult conversation,
And kids don't want to always hear it from their parents, but it should be well known, just like telling a child that about their body parts. Don't petticoat it. Tell them what parts on their body are.
Have realistic conversations.
Yeah,
right.
They talked about that in like science, that like you're not supposed to give them cutesy names because it can hurt the child.
It confuses them.
They don't know how to like. Well, even like sexual assault situations, they're like saying like they're touching this, and they're not saying the right word, and so no one knows what they're talking about.
Right.
Like somebody calls it something a cookie, and a kid saying, well, my dad's talking about, playing with my cookie, and, oh, yeah, you can have cookies. Well, it didn't click. If they were saying vagina or penis or your boobs or breast or chest, I mean, and
the instant red flag there.
Yes, but, back then, sexual abuse was so bad. I mean, people didn't know they were being sexually abused because people weren't.
The, internet and all that's going to bring all that up in the open, so people can't abuse their children and sweep it under the rug. It's
right.
But you two girls, I will guarantee you, I'm going to have this conversation again with you when you have a 13, 14-year-old daughter at home to see how easy you thought it would be.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm just saying, it's not easy for the 13-year-old either. It's not easy for us either. It's hard.
No, it's not. And like my talk subject today,
I mean,
she felt like she was not loved, or she felt that.
Right.
And
but I think all kids at that age are going through kind of similar things, because your hormones and your body is changing. There's a chemical imbalance that is a scientific reason why you're acting crazy. The same as a pregnant woman.
This girl, when she got adopted to her adopted family,
18 months.
You said 18 months.
Okay. So she knew she was adopted the whole time.
And her mother came into the picture when she got in trouble when she was 16, and she realized that her mother only came around, and in some of her documentaries or some of her interviews, she had said that her mother only came around when she wanted publicity. She was never there.
How about this though? Her adopted mother, family, they raised her from 18 months old. When did they start having trouble with her?
I guess when she was 12.
12.
Because that's when she ran away the first time, and her mom kept begging her to come back. But she did very well in school, and then she started getting bad grades, and she was getting in fights at school.
How did her parents?
It didn't say. It didn't say.
I guess if my question I was asking, were they very strict? Were they lenient? Were they trying to be understanding?
Right.
I mean, where were they at this?
I think I vaguely remember in some of the conversation that she had said that her parents were strict, but
or she felt that they were strict at that time.
When you're 12 years old, you think your mom and dad are so mean
right.
They're out of your.
How about, did she have siblings at home?
That was never talked about. I think that she might have been the only child, but they really didn't go. They didn't go into her family life. So that's what I'm saying. I would like to read her book to see what she
Right.
says about maybe in her younger years.
There were like other siblings there, and
Right.
because
Yeah.
I think when there are other siblings there, well, now you have some accountability what you're doing because it's affecting
Right.
family, And was her both parents had careers? I mean,
Her mother was a teacher. Her mother was a teacher, and I
so
don't
she
remember.
spent a lot of time at home by herself.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming not because her mother was a teacher. So I'm assuming that she had the same hours as her mother.
Okay.
And I'm sure that she went to the same school as her mother.
Well, it'd be interesting when you read the book, find out like how active she was in school. Did she play sports, or she, or was she just kind of left to go home by herself and figure things out?
Well, and she did say that she felt like she was bullied. So I don't know why she was bullied. Her mother was a teacher, so she shouldn't have been. But
well,
that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And especially for an adopted
because
kid.
her mom was. Yeah. Right.
And I don't know if she was an
teacher.
elementary teacher or if she was a high school teacher. I just know that she was a teacher. So maybe.
Do you girls, did you feel like people were being bullied when you went to school?
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
I think all kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing that when I was going to school.
Oh,
I remember. I know too.
Anybody picked on one person or made them whatever.
I think it's just all the teenage drama and jealousy or I mean, at least when I was in school, there was rumors that were passed around about me, and it's just, I don't know. Like for me, it's like, okay, if you want to believe it, fine. I don't really care. I don't care what your opinion is about me. And I think that was something too that you guys raised us to just like not care about what other people thought about us, just be ourselves, kind of thing. But
I don't think I ever thought, well, I don't care. You should think I don't care, but to me,
no, I know.
If
but
somebody was going to bully me, I would like confront it.
And that's it. Yeah, and for
you confront the person, but you just ignore it because of the fact that it's not going to do any good because they're going to continue. But I taught you, all three of you guys, to respect people, to be a friend to everybody, but don't take any crap from anybody either.
Right.
I think we try to teach all you kids. Problems are going to happen. You got to learn how to work them through.
Yes, you have to deal with them.
So,
but the thing though too is
But you guys were never bullied. But
no, I don't remember.
But I also think no, I don't remember anybody really being like. And I don't know. I mean, I feel bad saying that because we went to such a small school, but I don't remember any real issues where like somebody was like really bullied to the point. Actually, I do. I don't remember the kid's name. He was older than me, but this was when I was in high school, and I remember him being teased and bullied because he was gay, and I think he was like the first person in the history of the school district, that or whatever that came out as being gay, and he was
to be gay. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm sure he wasn't the first one to be gay, but the first one that he was openly gay about it, and like he was not shy about being. He wasn't flamboyant, but he was not shy about talking about it, and he wasn't shy about saying, "No, I'm gay. I'm attracted to men." And I remember he ended up having to leave the school. He moved away because I think he wasn't like beat up as far as I know, he wasn't beat up, but I know he was teased a lot and picked on and that kind of stuff. But
and there were
and
there were kids that were in your school that were bullied because quite a few kids committed suicide in both of your guys' grades. There was a couple
I don't know if that was because of bullying, though.
And that was not because of bullying. The few people that I do know of, that was way after.
Yeah.
And one of them was a very popular person to begin with, and he was not bullied at all.
Yeah.
No.
There was a couple people, but really, I think there's only one while I was in high school that committed suicide, and that was I don't think that was a bullying situation.
You don't think so? Okay.
No. Okay, guys, I think we should wrap this up for this week.
Yeah.
So So I hope everybody got something out of my thing.
It did. Very good
Yes.
job.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Very good.
I wish I would have I wish I would have really gotten into it beforehand, but because there's probably so much more to see and do.
Well, that's the problem too with our podcast. There's always so much more,
So much.
but you'll have a limited amount of time to be able to talk about it. So,
Well, I mean, we could talk about it, but I didn't get all the facts and
Well,
information.
soon we're going to have to schedule a
revisited episode.
Revisiting each thing and each topic that we did. And because I'm sure we've all learned since we talked about it, new things and stuff. Look, I guess next week's going to be me. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
And
Bye.
make sure you like,
Follow, subscribe.
Like, follow, and subscribe, and
comment.
contact us at thefamilyschoolofthought@gmail.com.
Be part of our crazy family.
Yeah.
There you
Yes.
go. Okay. All right. Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.
Peace, baby.
Bye.